Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're stepping into, well, a truly tragic and unsettling story. It unfolded in the glittering, often fast-paced world of London fashion.
Yeah, it's a case that really sent shockwaves, not just through that community, but it also kind of exposes the dark side of ambition, jealousy.
Exactly, how professional competition can just spiral into something much more sinister.
Absolutely.
So we're going to delve into the lives of two rising stars in modeling. Both had incredibly similar backgrounds, really undeniable talent.
And their paths converged in just a devastating way.
Yeah. Our deep dive today is really to meticulously lay out the timeline, this escalating rivalry, and the heartbreaking events that led to a promising life being cut way too short.
We'll explore what went so profoundly wrong, when ambition just curdled into obsession.
And our mission, really, for this deep dive is to carefully examine the sources, the articles, court documents, personal accounts.
Right, to understand not just what happened, but the dynamics underneath, the psychology that drove this heartbreaking conflict.
It's a tough lesson.
It is. It shows what happens when competition veers into something, well, far more sinister.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Let's start with Harry Uzoka, born 1992.
Right. Grew up in Dagenham, East London.
His family were Nigerian immigrants. His mother, Josephine, and older brother, Edmund.
They moved to the UK seeking better opportunities, didn't they? Like free education, work, a brighter future.
Exactly. A huge contrast to Nigeria back then, which between 83 and 99 was, dealing with conflict, military rule.
Tough times.
Very. Harry was raised Catholic. His mom taught him to be kind, optimistic, empathetic.
And by all accounts, he was. A bright, cheerful kid, good at math, dedicated to his studies, talented footballer, too.
Seemed incredibly promising, full of potential.
But then things took a turn, didn't they? A moment that really tested him early on.
Yeah, at just 15. He got involved with a bad crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And in a moment of, youthful recklessness, bad judgment, he took part in an attempted armored car robbery.
He got caught.
He did, and ended up in a youth detention center, sentenced initially to 4 years.
But he got out early.
Yeah, released in just 2 years. Apparently for remarkably good behavior, showing a real commitment to change.
That period in detention, it seems like it was a massive turning point for him.
It really was. His older brother Edmund played a huge part. Visited him often, brought books.
Taught him life philosophy, I read, even things like the law of attraction.
Yeah, and Harry used that time. He read, reflected deeply on his mistakes, and just fully committed to changing his life. Vowed never to repeat it.
What does that tell you? That kind of deep personal transformation at such a young age, to pivot so completely.
It speaks volumes, doesn't it, about his inner strength.
Absolutely. Most kids in that spot might just serve time, maybe even get harder, but he used it like a forge. It really shows an incredible capacity for introspection, growth, self-improvement. That seemed to define him later on.
It wasn't just about getting out early.
No, it feels like it was a fundamental rewiring of his whole outlook, his aspirations.
Yeah.
He came out with a real sense of purpose.
So it set the stage, not just for release, but a whole new direction.
Right.
After he got out, at 17, his brother Edmund was already modeling.
Ah, okay.
And he encouraged Harry to meet his agency. Harry was apparently quite shy about it, wanted to go to university.
And he went.
He agreed to the meeting, and the agency, well, they were immediately struck.
By his look, his charisma.
Both. His natural, unpretentious charisma, that unique look, his charming smile. They just knew they wanted to mold him into a top UK model.
Wow.
He signed a contract, started training, and then this. This is pretty extraordinary.
Yeah.
His very first show was London Fashion Week.
That's huge and incredibly rare for a new face, right? Especially starting out.
Almost unheard of.
Yeah. And you have to remember, the UK fashion scene back then in the 2010s, it was heavily focused on female models.
Right.
And despite growing diversity talk, there was still a strong preference for white male models. Plus, male model careers were often short, maybe 2 years.
So Harry's quick rise, his sustained success,
Yeah.
breaking through those barriers, it wasn't just impressive.
No, it was significant. It really marked him as a trailblazer.
He just seemed unstoppable after that. Quickly became one of the most sought-after faces, often the only black model on many catwalks.
Working with major brands.
Huge brands. Zara, Nike, Alexander McQueen. He was on billboards all over London. Became synonymous with success. Celebrated as the most successful black male model in the UK.
But he stayed grounded, didn't he?
Remarkably so. Humble, kind, always remembered his roots. He even talked openly about his past, the detention. Used his story to inspire others.
That really shows his core character, that desire to give back.
Yeah.
The sources mention some really heartwarming things, like giving a friend 300 pounds when they only asked for 5 pounds, just because he could help.
Wow.
And building a house in Nigeria for his mother, fulfilling her dream of going home. These weren't just random acts, it was who he was.
That dedication, even as he reached those heights, it really highlights the person he was. It wasn't just about his own success.
Clearly not.
His personal life seemed good too. Notable relationships, like with model Leomi Anderson, then later Australian model Ruby Campbell.
And his career kept climbing.
Skyrocketing. Moved to a top agency, senior model management. Walked runways in Milan, New York.
Impressive trajectory.
And more than that, he formed this group, Just Star Norm, with 6 other black models, mentoring them, offering guidance, support.
Helping them navigate the industry.
Exactly. He said publicly he wanted to be a role model, to show anyone, no matter their background or past mistakes, could change their life, achieve their dreams.
He was building a real legacy, a powerful story of reinvention, inspiration.
But as Harry Stark kept rising, another ambitious young model was also making waves in London, George Coe.
Right. And their paths, already so similar, were about to intersect tragically.
George Coe, another black model, gaining prominence around the same time, born 93. Started modeling a bit later than Harry, at 26 in 2013.
And here's where it gets really uncanny, isn't it? Almost mirroring Harry's journey.
It is eerie. Like Harry, George was an immigrant, born in Liberia, moved to London age 2, working class family, also considered university before modeling.
And the parallels continue.
They do. Like Harry, George also had a criminal past from his youth, drug dealing, though apparently no official jail time.
But he also claimed to have learned from it, vowed to change.
Exactly the same narrative.
Wow. If you connect this to the bigger picture, these incredible parallels, origins, struggles, aspirations, even their looks, it's striking.
Almost
mirroring each other. It sets this unique, unsettling stage for what happened next. 2 rising stars, similar backgrounds, same competitive industry.
George also rose quickly, became a top runway model, worked with big names like Louis Vuitton.
And the physical resemblance was strong.
Remarkable. Similar height, bone structure, look, which naturally led to comparisons. They were often up for the same big jobs.
Competing directly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harry usually got the bigger roles, the more coveted ones, but George still got significant work. He was successful in his own right.
But this is where things started to shift, didn't they? Into something darker.
It did. Harry's friends later said George began to not just admire Harry, but actively mimic him.
Mimic his style.
His style, his lifestyle, his public persona, even down to his jokes.
That goes beyond admiration, doesn't it? That sounds obsessive. You see that when deep insecurities are involved.
And strange behavior, too.
Yeah.
Like repeatedly following, then unfollowing Harry's friends and family on Instagram. Multiple times.
Weird. What did Harry make of that?
Initially, he kind of brushed it off, accepted George's explanation that it was some weird strategy to boost his follower count. Harry was maybe too trusting.
Didn't see the darker currents right away.
So what psychological factors could push someone to excessively mimic and then try to sabotage another person, especially when their paths and successes were so similar?
Well, it really points to profound insecurity and envy, especially when competition gets deeply personal. You see it in high-stakes fields where external validation becomes tied to your whole self-worth. If a rival keeps outperforming you, despite similar efforts, it can trigger this desperate need to diminish their success instead of focusing on your own.
So it becomes destructive.
Exactly, fueled by deep resentment, a twisted sense of justice. It seems George, despite his own success, just couldn't handle Harry's greater achievements.
And that insecurity festered. It grew more toxic. George's behavior went from mimicry to outright harassment.
Spreading rumors.
Negative, completely fabricated rumors about Harry and the industry. Then came the catalyst for the final awful confrontation.
Ah, yes, the incident with Anzetta Lafont.
Right. George invited her to meet. During the meeting, he tried to kiss her repeatedly, like over 10 times, against her will.
While also bad-mouthing Harry.
Yes. And worse, he spread this vicious false rumor that he'd slept with Harry's girlfriend at the time, Ruby Campbell.
That specific rumor, that feels like a deliberate, targeted attack on Harry's personal life, his reputation.
Totally. And Zeta, understandably upset, told Harry everything. George's behavior, the lies, the attempted assault.
And Harry being protective.
Especially about women and people he cared for. He was deeply disturbed, angry.
So he confronted George.
Immediately. Called him. George denied everything, naturally. claimed Anzetta was lying.
But the confrontation humiliated George.
Clearly. And his anger festered, turned into this dangerous obsession for revenge. He started calling, texting Harry nonstop.
Aggressively challenging him to a fight.
Yeah. It wasn't about clearing his name anymore. It was pure resentment. This feeling that Harry always won, always came out on top. George couldn't stand it.
He saw Harry as this constant winner, overshadowing him despite his own success. That perception just consumed him.
Absolutely. Then came the fateful day, January 11th, 2018.
Right.
George texted Harry again, asked for his exact location. Ominously said he'd come with his crew, clearly implying a group fight.
And Harry agreed to meet.
Yeah. He was tired of the harassment, wanted to clear the air, make it stop. He agreed to meet George at Shepherd's Bush, near his apartment.
But they expected trouble.
They did. Harry and his roommate decided to bring a dumbbell bar, just the handle, no weights for self-defense.
Just the handle.
Yeah. They weren't looking for a serious fight, just wanted to deter George and his friends, resolve the issue.
That detail is so important. Harry's defensive prep, a simple bar handle, versus George's intent.
Which became chillingly clear.
It speaks volumes about their mindsets going into it.
And it was a fatal imbalance. George didn't come alone. He arrived with two accomplices.
Jonathan Okigbo and Merced Kadata.
Right. Okigbo was unarmed, but Kadata was wielding a machete.
A machete.
Yeah. And George himself had two knives. He was 3 against 2. They were massively outmatched from the start.
It happened fast, didn't it?
Incredibly fast, according to the roommate. Jonathan immediately chased the roommate away, separating them, isolating Harry.
Leaving him vulnerable.
Exactly. George and Merced then quickly cornered Harry.
The speed, the coordination, it points to premeditation. Brutal. It wasn't just a fight that got out of hand.
No, it was a deliberate ambush. Harry fought back with a dumbbell bar, but he was just severely outmatched. Knives, a machete.
Horrifying.
George stabbed Harry 3 times, one wound fatally close to his heart.
Oh, God.
After the attack, Harry, badly wounded, tried to run, shouted he'd been stabbed, but he collapsed near his apartment building.
His roommate found him.
Yeah, having escaped Jonathan. Called an ambulance straight away. Harry was still alive, but fading fast.
But the paramedics couldn't save him.
Despite their efforts, he died right there at the scene, just 25 years old.
25.
The whole thing, from being cornered to collapsing, was caught on CCTV. It lasted barely 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
And more footage showed George and his accomplices fleeing, wiping the murder weapon clean, shilling
Just awful.
Harry's death. It sent absolute shockwaves through the fashion world and way beyond.
I remember the outpouring.
Tributes flooded in. Models, designers, celebrities, fans, everyone expressing heartbreak, talking about his impact, his kindness, his potential.
The industry lost a truly bright star. His loss was felt so deeply, a real testament to his character. It was a stark moment.
The investigation moved fast. George Coe turned himself in a few days later.
But claimed self-defense, right?
Yeah, claimed Harry had mounted him, that he acted out of fear.
Which didn't hold up.
Not at all. Police had the roommate's testimony, the autopsy results, and that crystal clear, damning CCTV footage of the ambush. George's story was just incredible, unbelievable,
The evidence was too strong.
overwhelming. In court, Harry's girlfriend, Ruby Campbell, confirmed George's claims about their relationship were totally false, malicious.
And friends testified about the obsession.
Yeah, friends from the industry spoke out about George's clear obsession with Harry, his attempts to sabotage his reputation with those rumors.
And Harry's mother, Josephine, her statement must have been powerful.
Profoundly moving. Expressing unbearable grief, talking about Harry's dreams of contributing more, his role as an inspiration, especially for young people from similar backgrounds.
Just heartbreaking.
Ultimately, the evidence was undeniable. George Coe and Merced Kadata were both found guilty of murder.
What were the sentences?
George got life, minimum 25 years before parole. Merced, life with a minimum of 22 years.
And Okigbo, the unarmed accomplice.
Jonathan Okigbo was found guilty of manslaughter, sentenced to 14 years.
Some measure of justice, I suppose, but nothing brings Harry back.
Nothing. It just leaves this huge void.
So what does this all mean for you, listening to this story? The Harry Uzoka case is just a stark, tragic reminder, isn't it? Competition is everywhere, fashion, finance, wherever. But it's crucial to look at what happens when ambition crosses that line into obsession. It shows how our internal battles, insecurity, envy, resentment, can explode into horrifyingly tragic real-world consequences. It really raises an important question for all of us. In a world full of intense rivalry, constant comparison, how do we foster environments of mutual respect, support, instead of letting resentment fester and destroy lives.
A vital question. We hope this deep dive has offered you a clearer understanding of this truly heartbreaking story and maybe some of its sobering lessons. Thank you for joining us.
Until next time, take care.